Good evening and welcome to the Village Inn here in Partry. Beautiful Partry on a beautiful early summer's day, you could call it, for the historic first edition of Friday Night Mayo here on localstreaming.club. We hope you're going to enjoy the night. We hope you have lots to chat about afterwards. We have a great crowd in here tonight as well, and more in the front bar here in Oliver Kelleher's beautifully appointed emporium on the main Ballinrobe Castlebar Road. As I said, lots of guests to meet throughout the evening. You might be wondering, what is Friday Night Mayo about? Well, it's about a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and hopefully lots of this. Last weekend, Mayo team winning in Croke Park. Bit of a habit for Mayo now, with Westport winning the All-Ireland Intermediate final just a few weeks ago up there. So we open tonight by welcoming to our Friday Night Mayo slot our very first guest with the Paddy Drummond Cup, won in such thrilling fashion in Croke Park last week by his Ballinrobe Community School team. Can we have a big Mayo welcome for Damien Egan? How are things? Damien, you're very welcome. Thank you. Very welcome. Cheers. That's what it's all about. A lot of hard work. Yeah. We've even got our own resident band here, Joe Garvey and Tomas Langan, more and on about the two boys. Thank you for playing in, Damien. Damien, as you said, a lot of hard work. That's what it's all about for young footballers.
Yeah, it's a dream come true, Liam, honestly. Last August we set out on a long journey of commitment and work and dedication, and 99.9% of teams don't walk up the steps of the Hogan stand successful, and for a group of 17, 18 year olds, to be in charge of them, on the day of days, as I say, it was, it's a dream come true,
It's the third time Ballinrobe have won this title, but the first time in Croke Park, and I know you as manager were worried about that beforehand. It's a huge dimension. You brought your troops all the way up to Croke Park before the game, a week before the game, so they could familiarise themselves with this great stadium.
That's right. In terms of preparation, I tried to be as professional and as meticulous as possible. We brought the whole squad up a week before the game to mirror the match day. Brought them into the dressing rooms, brought them around the pitch, so they could acclimatise to their surroundings. Croke Park isn't like any other pitch in the country. The lads really appreciated that. Now, the day of the game we started really, really well. Kind of went pear-shaped a little bit after that, but the first 10 minutes, we were totally on top, and, I don't know, but certainly, the week beforehand, the trip up, I think it was a factor in our good start on the day,
Why are these boys winners? I know you said on the pitch afterwards, actually, I was there alongside you, that talent regularly fails, or that was your point, that talent alone is not enough.
Well, it's about belief, really. Maybe when I came into the school at the start of last September, 12 months, the great ability, 100% ability, but the belief within the group was probably lacking. And I suppose the one thing I'm probably most proud of over the last year and a half is that slowly but surely, with a lot of training, a lot of hard work, meticulous preparation, they started to believe in themselves. Since the word go, I believed in them, but trying to transfer that onto the lads themselves was a harder job. But I really, really thought there was ability and potential success in this group. But it's all right me saying it, but they have to go and do it. And slowly but surely they got the message on what I wanted them to do, and as I said, the fruition there was last Saturday.
Tell us a bit about yourself. You're not from these parts, you're from Bunnyconlon in deepest North Mayo.
That's it, yeah.
People who know their football will recognise Anthony Egan out here. You're his son, of course, the former Mayo captain and manager.
Yeah.
Or did he captain Mayo?
He did captain Mayo, he captained them and managed them and played for them, so it's a long narrative, I suppose, with playing and managing teams, at a high level. As I said, I've three brothers. We still play with Bunnyconlon. I played myself with the Mayo Minors, a little bit with NUIG. with a lot of good players. I was managed by a lot of good managers. I'm still playing myself a game tomorrow actually. So
who are you playing?
Away to lovely Laherdon tomorrow evening. So
a North Mayo Thriller.
North Mayo Thriller. So I'll be.
Is that the exclusive junior winter league you're playing down there?
It's the big one.
The full league.
Start the league. So I'll be early to bed after.
What is this exclusive North Mayo winter league? I mean,
I don't know.
How exclusive can it be?
I don't know. It's an exclusive spot now in North Mayo. But yeah, I'm still playing myself. Still playing at home. Dad is involved with the senior team in Bunnyconn this year. You know, they were a little bit of advice along the way and on our trip to Croke Park, but you know, he's let me just find my own path as well, which I appreciate. You know, I'd be kind of my own man in a lot of ways. But he's nice to have him there in the background, and I think he was one of the most excited men there in Croke Park last Saturday. You know, he was a happy man. You know.
Okay. I know that Nathan Morden lifted that cup last weekend in Croke Park, and we had a Mayo team on the steps. But I know you're an ambitious sort as well, not one to rest on your laurels. And I read a very interesting quote by you in the Western People 2 weeks ago, where you talked about a culture of excellence. Why? And this is before you'd won the title.
Yeah.
Why stop at a certain point? You taught in Jarlath, and you were influenced by that, weren't you?
Yeah, I spent on and off 2 years in Jarlath. The tradition there, you know, you can't help but be taken up by the expectation in there, you know. And you know, I think I said in that article as well, why not challenge these young men to achieve maybe something that they didn't expect, you know. As I say, it's all about belief with young people. If they really and truly believe something, they'll buy into it and they'll start working at it. If there was ever evidence of that, it was last Saturday, because you know, the lads as a group, did they believe they'd win the All-Ireland last August? At heart, I don't think so. But over the course of the year, with momentum and wins and confidence, you know, they really started to believe. But what was fundamental to that was a massive amount of hard work that they wouldn't have been used to, commitment that they wouldn't have been used to, be it on and off the pitch. But you know, they bought into it, and certainly I would be very disappointed if this was a one-hit wonder over the next maybe 4 or 5 years. Success is a habit. Same as losing is a habit, and you know, the idea is certainly be next August again. You know, I don't know about All-Irelands and things like that next year, but it's all about belief and going at it again. And certainly, you know, it's about continuing on the success. You know.
Okay, well done to you, to your management team of Norman O'Brien and Kieran Kilkenny, your captain Nathan Morden and his men, the school principal Willie Culkeen, and the great team sponsor Donald Vaughan, the great Mayo footballer as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to take possession of this for the night. I got few enough of my time playing, so I'm going to hold on to this for a while, and we're going to hold on to you, Damien, for a while as well. I should point out, by the way, that he is on a height. He's not 6'7". He is a big man, but he's not 6'7", or I'm not 5'2", or something has gone badly wrong here. He is on a height. That's so Oliver Kelleher won't feel intimidated later on, Damien. That's why that's there. So yeah, that's it. I think we're going to let you go, Damien. Thank you for being our first guest on Friday Night Mayo. More power to your elbow. Hope you continue. And don't be going anywhere out of Ballinrobe Community School. I promised somebody I set up this programme there'd be no GA the first night and there'd be no Ballinrobe the first night.
That's
our first guest is the Ballinrobe GA man. Not bad. I don't keep promises. Damien, well done.
Thanks a million.
Thank you very much. So, for those of you who may be tuning in who are not familiar with the County of Mayo, or indeed if you are familiar with the County of Mayo, Alan Clarke, a wonderful videographer from Castlebar, who is into drone photography, drone video work, and so much other things as well, really talented man, has put together a 7 days of Mayo collection, a video that I hopefully will, for those who live locally, make us realise how beautiful the county is, and those who are abroad and wishing they were here, get onto airlingus.com and ryanair.com tonight and get back home for this summer perhaps. So have a look at this video, 7 days in Mayo by Alan Clarke. Well, there you have it, Alan Clarke, 7 days in Mayo. I hope you found that as entertaining as we did when Alan first provided it to us. So well done to Alan, and we'll hopefully showcase his work as well in the weeks ahead. To let you know that Friday Night Mayo will be here for 8 Friday nights, with the exception of next Friday night. It's Good Friday. We'll be recording on Holy Thursday. We'll be going live on Good Friday. We have some word that some people are finding it difficult to get us on our local streaming.club website. So if you're watching on YouTube and you know somebody who might like to be watching, do tell them to go to our YouTube channel or send them the link as well. The perils of live internet broadcasting, streaming. Hopefully everybody will get on very soon. But of course this will all be archived later on tonight. You'll be able to watch it back as well too. My next guest is a very well-known figure in County Mayo, former RTE broadcaster many moons ago on that Sunday morning programme, and now one of the chief drivers of Westport, one of the great towns in Ireland, voted Ireland's most livable town or best town to live in a few years ago. Tidy Towns winners, All-Ireland Intermediate Club winners a few weeks ago as well, and a much loved town here in the west of Ireland. And Dermott, this year, Dermott Langan, of course. Dermott, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much indeed.
This year, Dermott, you're 250 years old and you don't look a day over about 45.
More or
it's
less,
the town,
yeah.
I think, not you.
The town, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Way back in 1767, the second Earl of Altamont at that stage decided that there were a lot of people living in his lawn as the old town of Westport, so he decided it's time to move them on. So he employed an architect called William Leeson to draw up plans for a new town with a market building and some fancy houses around an octagon shape in Westport. So we advertised in Faulkner's Dublin Journal way back in 1767 to look for bricklayers, stonemasons, carpenters, slaters, a whole range of tradespeople to come and build a town in Westport, and laid out the plans of a guy called William Leeson. And William Leeson, one of those guys who we only discovered, I suppose, in Westport in the last 15 years. A local historian called John Mayo discovered that William Leeson was the guy who actually was the architect for Westport, because lots of people thought it was James Wyatt who actually designed Westport House along with Richard Cassels at another stage, and everybody thought it was Wyatt who designed the town, but no, it was a guy called William Leeson when John Mayo discovered this document.
Okay. Tommy Hilfiger has connections with Westport, I believe.
Is
that another new discovery, is it? Is it a real one or a kind of a suitable one?
It's a real one indeed. Tommy Hilfiger's father was Dutch, but his mother was Virginia Geraghty from close to Murrisk.
Okay.
So he's been to Ireland and he's promised to come to Mayo, so hopefully he'll come to Westport for our 250th and he'll kit us out in lovely Tommy Hilfiger outfits.
Indeed. So Westport 250, I know you have a big weekend this weekend.
Yeah, we have. This weekend, I suppose, we've got a Children's Arts Festival, the first time ever a Children's Arts Festival in Westport. 4 days of workshops, of drama, of Rirá Rinka, so lots of fun, and of course culminating in a big parade on Sunday afternoon, a big parade with some marching bands. We've got the Westport Band, Ackle Pipe Band, Castlebar Brass Band as well, some street theatre from Sligo, from the Workhouse Studios in Sligo, and then we had an artist in residence working with the students in all the schools in Westport, and they've created some wonderful colourful floats. So about 70 floats in total will be taken to the streets. So it should be a fun day.
There's also a pink ribbon challenge on Partry tomorrow as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They're going to try and form a pink ribbon.
Yeah, link
from the bottom to the top.
Exactly. Yeah. So that should be interesting.
Okay. What else is planned for the year?
Well, then we're moving on to Mayo Day, which is on the bank holiday weekend in May, and it happens that it's the 30th of April. Really, we're having major fireworks at the Westport Quay with an open air concert as well for about 4 hours, and that leads us into May then, where we have a big air show. I suppose that's the big ticket event for the year. First time ever an air show in Westport, and that will be flying over the harbour in Westport. Told that we should be expecting somewhere in the region of 35,000 people, which is a lot of people to get into Westport, you know, but it'll be a big event. The day before that, Westport Chief, which is a major cycling event, and the week after it, we've got 1,500 minis coming in, as in cars. It's the International Mini Convention, and they're bringing in minis from places.
Is that the first time in Westport?
First time in Westport, yeah. Bringing in some minis from as far away as Japan and the US, and they're going to be in Westport for 4 days, but not alone that, they'll be on the Wild Atlantic systematic way for probably a week before and a week afterwards. So lots of good things planned for Westport.
Is Westport's capacity threatened then at these weekends? How far out do the bookings go? I know Westport has a great supply of hotels.
Yeah,
Mayo,
there's 11 hotels in Mayo, but we could do with more bedrooms. I mean, even I was just talking to a group of people who arrived in Westport last Saturday night on the hope of getting some place to stay, and they couldn't find a place anywhere in Westport to stay, and so they had to go to Castlebar, so good for Castlebar, I suppose, How
do you feel about that in Westport when Castlebar gets a twist out here?
Oh, well, it's nice.
There's an age-old rivalry there,
there has been always, yeah, but I know we like the people in Castlebar too, and that's why we're inviting back their band on Sunday as well,
Okay, very good.
Friendly rivalry between Westport and Castlebar always,
Okay. What else is planned for the summer for those who might be thinking about a trip to Westport this year?
During August, of course, we have the Harvest Festival, a brand new country festival, kind of twinned with Enniskillen, with Egan Promotions, people like Charlie Pride, Nathan Carter, Miranda Lambert. So, country music is huge at the moment, and that's one of the big events. But then throughout the year, I mean, there's lots of kind of smaller boutique type events as well, like the Chamber Music Festival in early September, then the Rolling Sun Book Festival in November, planning something large around the Christmas with ice rink and a light show as well. So nearly every weekend there's something happening in Westport. I mean, lots of adventure races as well, I mean, we've got the Gale Force Adventure, we've got Sea to Summit, last one running. So there's something for everyone in Westport,
How does it all keep going? I mean, it's not a particularly big town, and yet there are events at a city scale here.
I suppose it's a good community working together, and I mean, that's evident from the hotels. I mean, as I say, 11 hotels in Westport, and I suppose it's different to other towns where maybe they wouldn't work together, but in Westport every month the marketing managers of each hotel come together and sit down and plan for the next months in advance, and the idea is get the people into Westport and then they can decide to stay in any of the hotels, so it's partnership and working together. It's the same with tidy towns, and it's good volunteerism, I think, it's a good spirit of that in Westport,
Okay, anything else people don't know about Westport?
Oh, well,
you're a bit of an open book back there at this stage.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you'd remember ZZ Top, wouldn't you?
Indeed, yeah.
Well, Billy Gibbons.
Might think it to look at me.
Yeah, the same here. We did have here at one stage. I mean,
you played ZZ Top on RTE, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. But a guy called Cedric Gibbons, who his father was Austin Gibbons. He came from Westport, and he went to Dublin. And Cedric was born in Dublin, but went off to Hollywood, and actually was the designer of the Oscar statuette in 1928. He also received about 28 nominations for art direction, and he won 11 Oscars, and his cousin is Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top. So hopefully when ZZ Top come to Dublin, that Billy might come down and see his relatives in Westport. So,
and you'll build a festival around that as well?
We will, of course, yeah.
Drop a hat in Westport, you have a festival for it.
Yeah.
Dermott, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, to be here.
There's other things as well. There's some children's events as well. Have we covered everything we want to cover?
I think we more or less have, yeah. But it's lovely to be here, because I have great memories of this place, actually, because when I was a very young kid, the guy who owned this place, Manny Gibbons, used to come and buy cattle off us way back, a long time ago. So it's nice to be back in this place again. So
yeah, we'll be talking to Oliver a little bit later on. For people who remembers it as Manny Gibbons, it's probably the smallest pub in Ireland, I'd say. It was, you hadn't room to swing a cat in it. And now it's this massive complex that Oliver has developed here in Jim O'Neill and various people. Yes, so
do I see flying pigs as well on the roof?
Flying pigs on the roof, yeah. And but we'll be talking about it a little bit later on, and about, of course, Partry as well, the birthplace of Monsignor Horan. But Dermott, thank you very much for joining us. That's Dermott Langan here from Westport, and telling us all about what's happening in Westport this weekend. Give him a big Partry round of applause there as well, too. It's Dermott. And we're going to have a word, as I say, in all the fashionable programmes from our sponsors, and back immediately with music after that from Joe and Tom. Thank you.
Sunday, April 30th, the High Kings. Wednesday, May 10th, Jerry Carney plus special guests. And Saturday, May 13th, Keith Barry's brand new Hypno Magic Show. For more details plus ticket info, log on to townhall.ie. Upcoming events at Claremorris Town Hall.
Mock interviews, career planning, application forms and LinkedIn profiles. Indeed, anything you need to progress your career. Sleenua Careers, your trusted career partners.
Monday, April 17th, John Hogan and special guests. Friday, April 21st, John McNichol plus special guests. Saturday, April 22nd, Ardagh Community Players present Sive by John B. Kane. Wednesday, April 26th, Nevin Maguire Cooking Demo and Artisan Food and Craft Fair. Sunday, April 30th, The High Kings. Wednesday, May 10th, Jerry Carney plus special guests. And Saturday, May 13th, Keith Barry's brand new Hypno Magic Show. For more details plus ticket info, log on to townhall.ie. Upcoming events at Claremorris Town Hall. Easter Monday, April 7th.
If you're trying to get on the career ladder or a little further up it, trust your career partners. Sleenua Careers. We have offices nationwide, including in Ballinrobe, Westport and Claremorris. CV preparation, interview training, mock interviews, career planning, application forms and LinkedIn profiles.
Thank you. And I think Tom is going to grace us here with another one, if you're ready. Oh, it's just next to you there.
We're doing one by Johnny Cash and Folsom Prison Blues. Take it away, Joe. Well, I hear that train a-coming, and it's rolling round the bend. I ain't seen that sunshine since I don't know when, but I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. You know time is dragging on, and I hear the whistle blowing bound for San Antonio. Now when I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy and never play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Now I hear that lonesome whistle and I hang my head and cry. There's rich folks sitting in their fancy dining cars, and they're probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. But I knew I had it coming, but now I can't be free. And those people keep moving, that's what tortures me. Well, if they freed me from that prison and that railroad train was mine, I'd probably move it a little bit further down that line. Now far from Folsom Prison, that's where I'd want to stay. And I'd let the lonesome whistle blow my blues away. Well, I hear that train a-coming, and it's rolling round the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when, but I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. You know time is dragging on, and I hear that whistle blowing all bound for San Antonio. And I hear that whistle blowing, it's bound for San Antonio.
Yeah, thank you very much to Joe Garvey and Tomas Langan there, our resident band here tonight in the Village Inn in Partry on this very first edition of Friday Night Mayo. Our sound man is a busy man tonight. Some say he's not even a sound man, but he's our sound man tonight. And our sound man, John Corless, also does surrealist poetry. Oh. If you don't mind. Yeah. Do you mind?
No. It's probably too late now anyway, is it? This one is called A Single Mission. He read somewhere, or someone told him, that an astronaut might have to spend 43 days in a spaceship on a single mission. And since he always wanted to be an astronaut, he decided to train. But first he needed a suitable capsule, and he had long given up on getting a reply from NASA, let alone the use of one of their second-hand spaceships. He'd even collected, he had offered. In the shed over the winter, he modified a couple of 205-litre steel oil drums by cutting and welding until they were one, and he could stand or lie inside. The capsule could only be opened or closed from the outside, so he entrusted the help of a neighbour to secure him in place and launch his training mission. The spaceship was to be rolled off the highest peak nearby, and the neighbour was to return at least 3 times a day for the 43 days and tow the enclosure with his tractor back to the top. The freshly appointed astronaut's assistant was to keep an eye on the old man who lived alone and sometimes needed messages from town. He was to feed the cattle and take the dog to the vet for his 6-monthly checkup, which fell due during the mission. For this he would be paid a small stipend and generous expenses. And so after he had made sure there was plenty of feed for the stock, he packed his provisions, said goodbye to the dog, buttoned his space suit, clipped his motorcycle helmet and stepped into the capsule. A small step for the kind man who always wanted to be an astronaut.
You'll give us one more, John.
This one is called Oh to Own My Own Chip Shop. I'd sell chips in all shapes and sizes, thin ones, fat ones, white frozen ones, brown home-cut ones, fried in oil, and I'd have a range of oils, from heavy industrial duckums to extra light, extra virgin, sun-kissed sunflower olive oil. I'd even offer a range of chips shallow fried in Vaseline, and menthol flavoured fries lightly coated with Vicks. I'd offer burgers for all tastes, different shapes and textures, Hawaiian, curried, regular, quarter pounders, half pounders, even the full pounder. Yes, the full pounder. Single burgers, double burgers, triple burgers, and my own favourite, the quadruple, named after the bypass. My burgers would have everything: cheese, grated or sliced, fresh or mouldy, Edam, cheddar, mozzarella, with onions, jalapenos, chilies, mayonnaise, coleslaw, more onions, all embraced by a floury soft bun baked by the rounded Mrs. Sweeney and her daughter Kathleen in the back kitchen of their cottage near Swinford. I'd offer kebabs with the sweat dropping off them, and curries that would have you running for days. You'd be ready for the marathon after my curries. And onion rings and tomato rings and even a range of wedding rings for starry-eyed couples who called before going to the nightclub. I'd even do a range of rings for same-sex unions, but that's a different matter altogether. And pizzas. Did I mention pizzas? 4-inch and 6-inch and 8-inch and 10-inch and 12-inch. That would take you ages to get your mouth around. And 18-inch for the tractor drivers in season, the silage season. And southern fried chicken and western brand chicken and Costello and McDermott's chicken and deep fried chicken for my special, and my special for the bachelors in their 40s and frustrated businessmen, the pullet of the day. In the back, and I bring her out sometimes, I'd have a busty Lithuanian, battering sausages and a range of fish, fresh and frozen, and cooked too, of course. Why do I want my own chip shop, you ask? My father had a chip shop in Ballinrobe. He fell foul of the Western Health Board and the cash and carry, and 7 bookies in the town. His father had a chip shop in Crumlin after moving from Italy in 1964. It's run by my cousin now. My uncle has a chip shop in Lanesborough. My other uncle has a chip shop in New Two Pot House, not to be confused with Old Two Pot House. My aunt shamed the family. I can't mention her name in front of my poor mother. She did the unmentionable, the despicable. She married into a Chinese in Swanland Bar. It's what we do, us Bonaritos. We run chip shops. It's what we are. It's the gel that holds our hair in place, the pigment that colours our skin, our oxygen. And one day soon I'll have my own. I have checked out a place in Bohola. The rent is low and it's on the N5. Bonaritos of Bohola. I like the taste of it already.
Well done. Well, when he named himself a surrealist poet, he didn't disappoint. John Corless, our sound man doing poetry, and if we can manage the appearance fee, and in almost all certainty we won't, we'll have him here again on a few more occasions. We'd love to, but it costs an absolute fortune, John. He's the dearest surrealist poet this side of that lawn. Thank you very much, John Corless. Well done. Our next guest, joining me tonight from Shanvahara in Knock, is Marion Campbell. Marion, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank you, Liam.
And Marion, I suppose this is National Organ Donor Week, Organ Donation Week, trying to promote the whole idea of donating organs, having that conversation, having that chat, as they say, and all that goes with that. We thought it'd be interesting, and you very kindly agreed to come along, to talk to somebody who has experienced it from the other side in terms of a loved one, a family member being an organ donor. And you lost your husband, Teddy, very dramatically. He took ill and died very, very quickly in 1999, isn't that right?
That's right, Liam, yes. In 1999, our lives changed. Teddy was a very healthy young man. He was 48 years of age. And very suddenly, he got a pain in his head. And he was transferred to Beaumont Hospital. And as the days went by, he wasn't getting better. And they asked us at some stage on the Thursday, they told us that Teddy was not going to get out of it. And they suggested organ donor. Would we think about it? And right away I thought of the card that Teddy had, which he had got 3 years previously. He opened an account with AIB, and when you opened an account with them that time, you had the option of did you want to be an organ donor, and if you did, you just ticked the box, and that's what Teddy did. And he came home and he told me, and I laughed, and he laughed too, because he thought he was going to live forever, and that he would be an old man, and that nothing would be any good to anybody after him. Unfortunately, in July 1999, he had a very happy Sunday because Mayo and Galway were playing in Tuam, and it was the first time that Mayo beat Galway, I believe, in Tuam. Himself and the boys.
I've got to correct you there.
Is that right?
It was Mayo relieving Galway of their Ireland crowd of 98. They had won there in 97, but it was the wet day.
Oh, right, it was
the
wet
day. It was the day Mayo relieved Galway of their Ireland crown.
Right, okay. But I haven't all my facts.
That's okay.
So, himself...
I don't mean to correct you, but we need to know our big ones.
Oh, indeed, yes. I would hate to mislead anybody. So, came home from the match and he went to work the next day. He was fine, and then wakened up with this terrible pain in his head. And that was the way it was for the few days, as I said. Coming to the organ donors, we decided, yes, Teddy had the card and we were approached by it. I thought, by the nurses and doctors. I said, oh yes, we have the card. So I spoke to the children, Noreen, Eddie and Desmond, and on account of Teddy having that card, it made the decision much easier for us to make. So as the evening went on, they told us what was going to happen. They told us that the three people, they asked what organs would we like to donate, and we said his liver and his kidneys. They also mentioned his heart, but we didn't agree to that. So his liver went to a young woman in England, and his 2 kidneys were to young men, and that operation took place in the Beaumont Hospital where we were. The days that followed was all, a blur really. And then a few weeks later, out of the blue, I got a letter to say that the people had been doing so well. And it gave us another little bit of encouragement, to think, well, they were having happiness, and while we were sad, this brought us a little bit of light. Mm-hmm. As the time went on, they have a remembrance service each year in October, and we're invited to it every year, which we have attended. And it is wonderful to see all the people who have got a new lease of life because of donors. Can
I just ask you on that, Marion, when the family contact you, as I understand it, there's no identification. They write to a middleman effectively, and the hospital probably, is it? Or you didn't get the family name, did you?
Oh, we'd never got names. No. They just told us the age of the people, and as I say, it was a woman in England, and it was 2 men in Ireland.
And how have they been getting on since? Do you get updates since then?
Not recently now, but they did tell us, you know, for a while afterwards that everything was doing well. It's 18 years ago, almost 18 years ago. So I often still think about them, and I hope they're doing well.
And that the conversation, or have the chat, as one of the hashtags is, and I know this is a politically fraught area as well, the whole thing about opting in or opting out, but
that's right.
That conversation, what is it like? And I don't mean to intrude upon your grief, but I know you wish to spread the message of organ donation as well.
Yes.
What is it like to be talking about your loved ones' organs, even though they're still with you and you're trying to come to terms with where you're at? What's it actually like? Or do you recall it really?
Not really, you know, I don't really. But you know, when you think about it seriously, it's wonderful to think that 3 people, you know, got a better quality of life. They probably wouldn't have survived if that hadn't happened. And Teddy was always one for giving. You know, he was a generous type of a person. And it helped us, so it did, in our grief.
And it still helps.
And still helps. But the important thing is that if he didn't have that card, I'm not sure what decision we would have come to when we were approached by the organ donation team.
So we have, of course, the Irish Kidney Association do a lot to promote organ donor.
They do indeed.
On our screen as well, we've I think had the digital donor card. So
that's
it's about
right,
making it easy for people as well, isn't it?
That's right.
To have the to state their aims, so to speak, or state their wishes.
That's right, yes. To be aware of having the card and to talk about it to your family as well. You know, that it is very important that we'd talk about it, because we never know what's going to happen to anybody at any time.
You said that Teddy signed up when he opened an account with AIB Bank.
That's right.
Is that still a feature of opening bank accounts? Is that still there?
I don't think it is, actually. I don't think it is. I'm not sure about that now.
Okay.
I think it is on the driver's license, all right, that it is that you can do it on the driver's license, but it's very easily available. You know, you can do it in the chemist shop or lots of places just to sign up.
Okay, and I know that 18 years on,
yes,
you're still heavily involved in this. You were involved in the Mass last Sunday in Knock Shrine.
That's right.
You go to Dublin in October.
That's right.
You're an advocate or a campaigner for organ donor awareness, isn't that right?
Well, I would, yes, I would try my best, yes. Last Sunday was a lovely day in Knock. The Family Life Centre decided that they would have this Mass. It was the first time it was held in Knock, and it was nice to see people we knew who had received organs attending the Mass, and that was good. They said, you know, that it's not often they would be talking to people who had donated, so they were happy to have us there, and we were happy to be there.
Okay, well, Marianne, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
And tell us your story.
Thank
you. I hope we have remembered Teddy well, and you've certainly done his story justice, and well done to you and to your family. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's Marion Campbell from Shanvahara in Knock, and there are digital donor cards now. The Irish Kidney Association have all sorts of information out there. We have various posters, etc. here. Vivian Traynor is the patron of the organ donor of the Irish Kidney Association's Organ Donor Awareness Week, which finishes this weekend. Free text donor to 5050 50050 if you wish to get an organ donor card. Free text donor, DONOR, to 50050. After the break, we're going to talk to somebody on the other side of the fence, a Mayo man who is now living a full and active life, having had a kidney transplant 2 years ago. So we'll take a break. Do join us again in a few moments. Thank you. Need anything you need to progress your career. Steenua Careers, your trusted career partners. If if you're trying to get on the career,
13th, John Hogan and special guests. Friday, April 21st, John McNichol plus special guests. Saturday, April 22nd, Ardagh Community Players present Sive by John B. Kane. Wednesday, April 26th, Nevin Maguire cooking demo and art stand food and craft fair. Sunday, April 30th, The High Kings. Wednesday, May 10th, Jerry Carney plus special guests. And Saturday, May 13th, Keith Barry's brand new Hypno Magic Show. For more details plus ticket info, log on to townhall.ie. Upcoming events at Claremorris Town Hall. Easter Monday, April
ladder, or a little further up it. Trust your career partners. Sleenua Careers. We have offices nationwide, including in Ballinrobe, Westport and Claremorris. CV preparation, interview training, mock interviews, career planning, application forms and LinkedIn profiles. Indeed, anything you need to progress your career. Sleenua Careers, your trusted career partners. And welcome back to the Village Inn here in Partry for Friday Night Mayo, first edition of Friday Night Mayo. As I said earlier on, we're here for the next 8 weeks, and we will be here from 10:30 to 12 midnight. Next week we'll record on Thursday night because it's Easter weekend, it's Good Friday, next Friday. Some people are having some problems logging on. Do tell your friends that the YouTube channel is working fine. I think our own website is working fine as well. As I said earlier, the perils of internet broadcasting. But following on from that captivating interview with Marion Campbell there from Shanvahara and Knock, whose husband Teddy died in 1999, and the family carried out his wishes and donated his organs, and 3 people enjoyed the gift of life. I'm now joined by a Ballinrobe man who also enjoys the gift of life that comes with organ donation, because just over 2 years ago, John McCarthy, you got a kidney transplant, isn't that right?
That's right, yeah.
So tell us your story prior to that.
Well, I was doing fine, and I just swelled up, and I was brought to hospital anyway. My kidneys failed. It's called membranous nephritis, and I had to go to hospital for quite a while. I was in, I think, about 6 months or so. I had about a 2-year recovery after that. Again, I was kind of really sick. Went into the big tunnel of all that kind of stuff, and you're dying and all that caper. But I was on dialysis then for 8.5 years after that, and I was on. I hadn't much chance of a match really, because I had a very bad accident down the road there long time when I was young, and got a lot of blood, so I had a lot of antibodies and all that kind of stuff. But I was put on the transplant list anyway, and Beaumont decided to send me to. They decided. Anyway, a friend of mine came forward to offer me a kidney, and I said, don't bother because you have 2 small kids and that kind of stuff. But she said, no, I'm going, that's it. And they sent us over to Coventry because it was too complicated for them. I had too many of these antibodies, and you have to go on this plasmapheresis treatment to take down the antibodies. And it took them 3 years to work up to that, because you go on a matched system. And they couldn't really find a match, but her kidney was an 85% match, so they went with it. And thankfully it has worked out fine.
So the live donation? The
live donation, yeah. So that's about, that's just over 2 years ago, so I'd be well dead now only for her.
And how is your donor doing now?
Oh, good. She's in top form. Yeah. She doesn't get sick. She's in top form. Yeah.
Is she publicly known then as well?
Yeah, Niamh Flanagan. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you were quite weak, you said.
Yeah. I was on death's door. I hadn't been on to live really a few months maybe. I thought maybe make it to Christmas, but you get up in the morning 9 o'clock, you go back to bed at 9:10. You get up at 11:10, you go back to bed till 2, and you get up for 10 minutes, you go back till 4, and you might get a few hours in the evening then.
Okay.
That was it.
What kept you going during that time?
Oh, God, prayer.
Yeah.
I pray to God to die quick now rather than going through all that again.
Yeah. And what has life been like since?
I'm pretty good, yeah. I can get around, I was in Scotland there during the week, and going up to see one of the buddies in New York later on. Might go to Medjugorje, was in London earlier on the year. So I'm getting around again. I couldn't go anywhere, this and that, they're talking about chips. couldn't eat potatoes, really. You have to double boil them and it's not very nice. And eat a bar of chocolate, your potassium levels go up and all that kind of stuff, and you can get heart attacks and all this kind of stuff.
Okay, so this is genuinely a dream come true for you, all this travel.
Well, you can get around, and you can go away, and I stay in Galway a bit, and I can go to Dublin. Go to Dublin one day to Bowman's, but I don't have to, I can get around, I don't have to go on any dialysis and get around and not weak and all that kind of stuff. I'm not looking out the window waiting to die, really. That's about the size of it.
Okay.
Yeah, really. That's the difference that is made to me, like.
Okay, well said, John. Thank you for joining us this evening. John McCarthy from Ballinrobe.
Thanks.
Recipient of a dialysis 2 years ago. And thank you for joining us, John. And that, of course, is part of National Organ Donor Awareness Week. I'm going to do the Jules Holland on it now and walk through the set. And I'm going to meet Paddy McGuinness. Paddy, you're very, very welcome.
Thank you very much.
We've had a query about how all these cups are here. Ballinrobe won 3 cups this year, in fact. The All-Ireland, the Connacht League and the Connacht Championship as well. So this is the All-Ireland one here. This is the big one. This is the Richie Bell Cup, of course. Richie, who died in 1994, I think it was. Great Mayo sportsman and great Mayo man overall. And speaking of great Mayo men and great Mayo events, new book launched by Paddy, the Castlebar International Song Contest 1966 to 1988. And for a younger generation, the Castlebar Song Contest, Paddy, it's fair to say, was enormous.
It was. I speak to young...
Paddy is the author, by the way, I should point out. Yes, sorry.
I speak to young people now, Liam, and they say, what was that? But for people maybe a little bit older than you, they remember it very well. It was a huge event. It started off as a one-night event to find a song about Castlebar, and it was just to be for one night to find a song that would make Castlebar famous. The song that won was called Coshlan and Worry, which is the Irish for Castlebar, but I'm not sure that it didn't actually become a hit. But it achieved an awful lot insofar as it proved to the organisers that there was something there to build on. Like Damien spoke earlier tonight about the football teams that had such success. The organisers dreamt of a bigger affair. And what it never won by way of a hit song, it won enormous publicity for Castlebar right across the world. And by the time it finished in 1988, something that had started with a total prize fund of £90 had a first prize alone of £5,000. Wow. It was the second richest song contest in the world.
Wow. It was aimed for the writer was the person, isn't that right? It was the
yes, of course.
But there are a lot of disputes over whether or not the writer. There was a famous case of one judge saying the singer won it for you. But
yes, well, like every song contest, it's supposed to be about the song, not the singer. But the singer does influence the judges, so it's impossible to separate them. We had our controversies too about judges' decisions. I have many letters from people saying you should shoot all the judges, but I think that applies to all managers of football teams, to all referees,
yes,
and all that type of thing. The people in the stands.
In some countries, they will get shot as a referee. In fact.
Yeah. Well, we haven't gone that far yet here. No.
So continue, yeah. So there was a lot of controversy.
Yeah,
subjective, of course.
Yeah, and writing the book was interesting insofar as it debunked some of these gossip and theories and stories that were out there. One of them, the most famous one, is that Castlebar turned down What's Another Year. That Castlebar, and that probably did become an accepted fact.
And was it true?
No. Simple as that. Wasn't true.
Never submitted by Shea Healy, was it that wrote that? Or
yes.
Shea Healy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shea Healy believes it was a theory thought up by very wise people in Dublin to prove that the people in Mayo and the west of Ireland generally were thick and ignorant. And the story took on legs and became a fact.
Okay.
But it's not a fact.
Okay. Yeah. A labour of love, Paddy, has to be said. I mean, this is it's an enormous publication. It really does justice and pays great tribute to the song contest as well. And the style I found interesting, that you drew in a variety of people to give their own reminiscences in their own words as they remembered them. So there's people talking about special knocks on doors of hotels in Castlebar to get in for a late drink and all sorts of things.
Well, I'm glad you find that, Liam, because you're a journalist yourself, and I would value your judgment of the book, and I'm very pleased to hear that. I thought that writing just a history can be very monotonous and dreary and dull, especially if it's written by me. So I thought I would get help from other people, and yes, I think it has added variety to the history and made it more readable. I hope that anyway.
What's your favourite memory of the song contest?
I have very many, but I suppose I could tell a little quick story maybe, but I'm not famous for telling quick stories. In the early years, Gay Byrne was the compere on the Monday night. And the Monday night was the big night because all the show bands, Monday was their night off. So all the show band singers came to Castlebar and sang. And like Des here tonight, Antoine Condon and myself were the stage managers, and these great stars took absolutely no heed at all of us. We were saying, you're next to Butch Moore, and he'd say, no, Brendan Boyer is next. And Gay Byrne had and has a short fuse, and he got quite annoyed because he'd be going out to introduce Butch Moore, and we'd pull him by the sleeve and say, no, it's Brendan Boyer. So he got very sick of this, and he stood at the top of the step looking down into the dressing room, and he laid down the law, and he said, we're going to do it this way and that way, and there was a bit of a discussion about it. But there was a ladder leaning against one of the walls in the dressing room, and on the second or third step of the ladder was sitting a man called Big Tom. And Big Tom said, I don't care how you do it, but I'm going last.
And he cut his arms as black, as Henry Ford said.
There was another very memorable event.
Your Monaghan accent, by the way, you're a Maheracloon man, aren't you?
Maheracloon, yes.
Yeah, we'll
I see that we almost have the Monaghan colours on one of the cups. There's a little bit of
That's
yellow.
commonly known as clutching at straws, Paddy.
We didn't do too bad in McHale Park.
No, you didn't do too bad, fair play to you,
On another night, a journalist in your profession wrote 25p ending to a £25,000 event, and that was the designer of the set had climbed up into the attic of the ballroom, and in the scaffolding pole that was holding up the lights, while the winning song was being reprised, he poured down a packet of confetti. So the packet of confetti was 25 pence.
Yes.
So it was a good heading.
Yes, clever.
Yes, very clever. Yeah. So I have lots of memories.
Okay. So of course, as we said, you're not a Mayo man, though. You're very much a naturalised one at this stage.
Yes, I came to Mayo in 1961 to work in the post office, trained in Ballina, appointed to Greystones, and then transferred to Castlebar, and they've had to put up with me there ever since 1962.
You're in the sticks business now as well, I see.
Yes, I'm retired from...
Is this a weapon, or is it a...
It's a Derry Hick stick.
A Derry Hick stick?
Yeah, I make these sticks out, and I have a little cottage out in Derry Hick, which is near Pontoon. And I started this as a bit of a hobby. My father was a gamekeeper, so we were brought up with gun dogs and country life and that type of thing. And we always had a walking stick. You know, people say they're lovely, but I don't need one yet. But I've always viewed a walking stick as an accessory when you're going walking. You'll never be attacked either by a human or an animal, dog or otherwise. So I started this as a hobby, and now it has become a little bit of, I make pin money out of it. I sell them all over the world on the internet. Yeah, so it's amazing what can be. That's a piece of alder, that's ash. I make them from white thorn, black thorn, rhododendron, even the common whin bush. And
you do it yourself? You have your machinery set up, or do you
I do it
plane it yourself?
It's all hand done, hand sanded, yeah.
And beautifully, is it lacquered? It's like a shinty stick, in fact. The hook at the end.
They're absolutely natural. They're the way nature grew them, I don't interfere with them other than to finish them off and make the handle easy to grip and give it a nice grip. And people who are into walking and like country life love these because, you know, they're not like billiard cues. There might be a little bend in them, they might be a bit twisted as myself, but they're authentic, they're real. I find them myself, I season them and I finish them. So whenever a person buys one, they're buying them from the person that did the entire job, other than nature itself growing them.
Well done. Well, it wouldn't be a chat show unless a man had a book to flog, but not many come on to chat shows with books to flog and sticks to flog. JerryHickSticks.com for the sticks. Available in all, as I heard Angelina McHugh say, Midwest Radio once, Joe Cosley, available in all good butcher shops, the book.
Well, it's available in all bookshops in Mayo, but it's self-published, and as I don't have the resources to put it into all bookshops in the country, so it's available on mayobooks.ie.
Okay, and you're selling here tonight as well, and have had a good trade already?
Yeah. Oh, that's good, thanks.
Yes.
Good to hear that. Yeah, there's great interest in the book, and I enjoy doing it, Liam, and thanks for having me on.
And one word before you go, Paddy, because in one of the other hats, many hats you wear, you were one of the key people behind the acquisition of a technical college, GMIT, for Mayo. It's under threat now.
Yeah.
There may be some talk that threat is alleviating a bit, or am I reading the tea leaves wrong? What do you feel overall? Because it was a huge pet project of yours. And
well, yes, and I was supported by an awful lot of people. I just led the campaign. I was only one of a lot of people. I was at a wedding today, Liam, and the priest made us promise when we were leaving the church that we would not say anything today that would annoy anybody.
It's nearly midnight though, Paddy.
Yeah.
The clocks are going forward.
I'm very disappointed with what's happening, what has happened, but I'm not going to apportion or blame people. I'm hopeful that people in high office that I am friendly with will deliver and ensure the future of third level education in Mayo, which was so hard fought for and won. It would be terrible to think that it would be allowed to die. And I'm hoping that won't happen.
Here, well said. Well said, and somebody who I'm in and out of GMIT all the time with Innovation Hub, Maria Stanton's excellent facility at the back. I think it has tentacles people don't even realise. Perhaps it has laid serious roots in our county.
Absolutely, brought young people to our town. They're talent. They're involved in drama and all types of activity and sport around the town, and it brings life to the town. And I suppose most importantly of all, and its core reason for us fighting for it, was that there are students from Mayo who would never see the inside of a third level institution, but for the fact that we have that there. And I hope that the people of Mayo will do now what they did when we fought for it so many years ago, that they will tell their politicians, deliver there or else.
Okay, well said, Paddy. And thank you for joining us. Those are the sticks, that's the book, and well done, Paddy, and to your family as well for all the work put into that.
And can I wish you good luck, Liam, and your team.
Thank you.
With this show. I was talking to one of them just very briefly before we started, and I was saying that in the early years of the song contest, to do what you're doing here tonight would require a load of trucks and buses and all kinds of equipment out there, and now it's great to see that you have the expertise, and of course technology has developed so much that it can be done in
Thank you very
without
much.
all of that equipment.
And I will acknowledge Anthony and John and Des and all the boys there. Thank you very much, Paddy. Well done. We're now going to our musical team here. Yes, here they are. You thought there was some other far region of the building here. We have Joe and Tom again as well too. They're going to play us a little bit of music, so we hope you enjoy it. Yeah.
the summer wind came blowing from across the sea. It lingered there to touch your hair and walk with me. All summer long we sang a song and we strolled that golden sand. Two sweethearts and the summer wind, like painted kites, those days and nights went flying by. The world was new beneath the blue umbrella sky, and softer than a piper man, one day it called to you. I lost you to the summer wind. Autumn winds and the winter winds have come and gone. Still those days, those lonely days go on and on. And guess who sighs his lullabies through nights that never end? Fickle friend, the summer wind, and the summer wind, and the summer wind, the summer wind. Thank you.
We'll hear from him a little bit later on. Mine host here in the Village Inn, Oliver Kelleher, blew into Mayo from County Leitrim many decades ago. How did it come to pass, Oliver, that you arrived in Castlebar?
Well, I suppose it's a long story and it's a short story. And I remember having a drink with Paddy McGuinness one night in Castlebar. Two people came over and they said, you were from Monaghan and you were from Leitrim, and how did you end up here? So Paddy gave a lot more financial advisable statement than I gave, but about 40 years ago I married a woman in Castlebar and she wouldn't move to 25 acres in Leitrim, so I had to move to a half acre in Castlebar. So that's how it happened.
Very good. And so how long ago was that, you say, 40 years ago?
1976 I came to Castlebar.
1976.
Yeah.
And you've worked in all sorts of businesses, run all sorts of businesses, and you've fetched up here in Partry. What about Partry?
Well, Partry, to me, I think is the most beautiful parish in the world, I think. I honestly think it is, because there's so much happening about it. This place here is famous over the years. It was built nearly 200 years ago. They have some of the finest lakes in the world. A quarter of a mile over here we have the best trout fishing lake in the world, and at the back here we have the best pike fishing lake in the world. And Tourmancady here, which is the parish we're in, we're the next parish to America, and we get loads of people coming from America here to Partry. But it's a fabulous place, and the people around here are the salt of the earth. And I suppose I was coming back from Galway one night, and it was after having radiotherapy in Galway. And I drove in here and I wasn't feeling that good. I came in for a pint. So I was chatting to Paul Killeen, who was running the place at the time. So he said the place is for sale. So I said, great. So I thought about it anyway, and I phoned a friend of mine in Switzerland, Kieran Schute, who I have a few other business dealings with, and I said to him, I'm thinking of buying a pub in Partry. Would you be interested in coming in? So Kieran said, no, I don't think I'd be going on for a pub. So anyway, I went home and I thought about it, and I looked around the place. I took out a lump of timber, and I got a black marker, and I drew out a plan of what I wanted for this place. So about 2 weeks after Kieran was back from Switzerland, so I said to him, do you want to come out and see this pub I'm going to buy? So I showed him the plan. It was on a lump of timber, and I said, what do you think? So he says, how much will you go on it? So I said, hold on a moment, Kieran, now. You're going to have to buy into this job now. So
you missed your boat, Kieran.
Yeah, so anyway, we decided, both of us got stuck into it anyway, and it worked out. It was worked out brilliant, because Kieran is the man with the brains, the financial brains, and I felt that I was hands-on here. I knew what I wanted. I wanted to do up this old place, keep the thatch pub, keep the old, this is a cow shed here, that was the turf shed, and below that was another cow shed. So we had to dump bales of hay out of here 2 years ago. Had to dump turf out of out there, and there was a horse box out there, and below there was a load of cow dung in the place. So it was back to me youth again. I had to pick
back to the 25 acres.
Back to the 25 acres and clean no cows, and we done the place up like this anyway.
So you say Kieran was the brains, but Oliver, anybody that knows you knows you're not behind the door either. Where did you do your leaving cert, Oliver? Where did you complete your
leaving cert? I went to school in Cavan. I in St. Pat's College in Cavan, and
you were boarding there?
I was boarded there, and I was bloody good. Like, I was a bit of a genius. I knew all the questions. I knew feck all of the answers. But I done my leaving cert. I never knew how I done on the leaving cert. So I remember the day that I got the results of the leaving cert, and my father was down the field digging the drain, and my father was up at the top of the field, and he had a brown envelope in his hand, and it wasn't one that he gave out to politicians, but he let a shout down the field at me, and he said, your leaving cert results came. So I said, how did I do? Stay in the feckin' drain, he said.
Well, Oliver, you didn't do bad out of the drain. Well done, our host this evening, Oliver Kelleher. Thank you. Very good. We'll be here every Friday night. We'll be here every Friday night with the proviso, I said, of next Friday night. We'll be here Thursday night, because it's Holy Thursday. We'll publicise that during the week. We're going to take a commercial break now to our conglomerate, our corporate sponsors who are funding the whole operation. Do join us back in a few moments with more guests.
th, John Hogan and special guests. Friday, April 21st, John McNichol plus special guests. Saturday, April 22nd, Ardagh Community Players present Sive by John B. Kane. Wednesday, April 26th, Nevin Maguire Cooking Demo and Artisan Food and Craft Fair. Sunday, April 30th, The High Kings. Wednesday, May 10th, Jerry Carney plus special guests. And Saturday, May 13th, Keith Barry's brand new Hypno Magic Show. For more details plus ticket info, log on to townhall.ie. Upcoming events.
If you're trying to get on the career ladder or a little further up it, trust your career partners. Sleenua Careers. We have offices nationwide, including in Ballinrobe, Westport and Claremorris. CV preparation, interview training, mock interviews, career planning, application forms and LinkedIn profiles. Indeed, anything you need to progress your career. Sleenua Careers, your trusted career partners. If you're trying to get And welcome back here to the Village Inn in Partry. We're in the last legs of our first Friday Night Mayo, and joined by, just so we've introduced the musicians properly, Joe Garvey from Castlebar. Joe, you're very welcome this evening.
Thank you.
And your colleague here, Tomas Langan, and you're very welcome. Thank you for the wonderful sounds this evening. I know you'll continue a little bit after the show finishes as well. Tomas, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm one of the musicians here tonight, and I'm from Castlebar, County Mayo, Davis Terrace, which is just down past the Welcome Inn, before you get to the old county home, or as it's now the Sacred Heart Hospital. And I play music quite regularly. I work for Murray Ambulance Service, James Murray's company in Castlebar, and between the music and work, I alternate quite fluidly, and this is my guide dog, Usha.
Usha. Usha, who is enjoying a good sleep between watching bags of tato being opened as well too. He's developed some bad feeding habits there, Tomas, perhaps.
No, I wouldn't say he's developed bad feeding habits, because the reason they train them in the beginning and they're such good dogs is because their love of food.
Okay.
So there will always be a craving for food, and the best thing is the habit. The tato will always be looked at, but the best thing you can do is not to give him the tato.
Okay, very good. And he's your constant companion. What age is he?
He's 10 years old now.
How long have you had him?
I've had him 8.5 years. It takes 1.5 years to train them fully.
Okay.
So.
And you've been blind from birth, isn't that correct?
Yes, a premature birth, so I was always blind, yeah.
Okay. But I think everybody who knows you says that you've never let it in any way hinder you. You've lived life to the full. You've loved your music. You work for Murray Ambulance Services. And
indeed. Well,
I believe you're a very popular employee right around the country. You have a lot of interactions around the country.
Yes, we talk to people all over the country in the course of the work, in different hospitals and settings throughout, from Letterkenny down to Cork, and everywhere in between. And the technology has really helped me as a person to get along. I mean, the iPhones now are fantastic. I mean, I can write messages in Braille on an iPhone.
Wow.
If you want a demonstration, I can
absolutely. Let's see that.
So it's your normal iPhone here. One second. Let's see if it must be gone off.
The battery is dead, is it? Perhaps I asked people to turn off the battery earlier on, so you can blame me for that. But it's got a Braille screen, is it, or a Braille app?
No, it's a normal blank screen, a glass screen, but you hold the phone on your side and there's 6 dots in a Braille cell, so you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You use your 3 left and right fingers and you can type away in Braille as quickly. I can do about 70-80 words a minute in a text message on the iPhone, and it speaks everything to you as well. But it's not only my iPhone, I could do it on your iPhone or anyone else's iPhone. It's only a matter of picking the iPhone up, turning on what they call voiceover, a speech assistant, and firing up the Braille, and away you go.
And what other assistive technologies do you use then?
Well, with the iPhone, I used to use a computer a lot with speech on it as well, so I could browse the internet or write letters. Or check emails and stuff, although I'm not great at checking email, but the computer, the iPhone now has all that built into it, so the computer has, from most of my daily chores, at home at least, at work the computer I use, but at home the computer has been made obsolete. I could perfectly well survive now without a laptop, because I only write 1 or 2 letters a year, so.
Okay.
The iPhone has everything on it that I need.
Musically, who are your heroes? Who do you...
Oh, I love lots of different music. I like older music in particular. I don't listen to much popular music today, like Taylor Swift or Ed Sheeran. No offence to them, but I'm more back in the 40s and the 50s with... I like music from them eras, from earlier even ragtime up through Vera Lynn and Joe Loss and all the 1940s singers. I like the Beatles in the 60s, and wouldn't be gone on the Rolling Stones now or Pink Floyd or any of that, but anything that sounds melodious or musical I enjoy. Bit of country music I like. traditional Irish music as well. I play a few tunes, and I've no one genre of music but it's a very eclectic. Got bits of this, bits of that, and the other. So it's very hard to put my finger or pin down something in particular.
Okay, very good. Well, Tomas, we're going to get you and Joe to play a little bit later on. They're going to play us out, in fact, in a few minutes' time. Great. Thank you for joining us, and thanks to Usha as well. I think he raised the eyebrow a little bit for me there as well in recognition of his name.
Yeah.
Well done, Tomas, and thanks to yourself and Joe for your music tonight as well.
Very welcome.
Okay, well done. Our next guest is down here, a very young man. We've decided, of course, important to keep the young people on side as well too in this Friday Night Mayo programme. And Dean Kenny from Belcarra. Dean, you're very welcome to the show.
Thanks very much.
You're heavily involved in your local Foroige club and your local sports. You play football with Bal.
Bal's right.
And I suppose we're here just to chat to you about life for young people in Mayo today. What are things like, do you think?
Well, not too bad, but not too bad really overall. But the one thing that I came on to talk about today was it's a committee that I'm involved with called Shaping Our Future Together. So we kind of looked across the county at all the councils and planning committees and tidy towns committees, and we saw that there's no young people whatsoever. It all seems to be middle-aged, elderly, old fellas sitting around the table, and no disrespect to them.
No disrespect to us, yeah?
No. No disrespect to them. They do work very hard, but it's lacking a complete representation of young people there. So we kind of came together and we decided we had to do something about it. So we came up with a survey for all 12 to 35-year-olds to do. It's about a minute. Takes about a minute. If you search it up on Google, Shaping Our Future Together, you'll find it very easily. To find out why young people aren't involved in these committees, and then after that, we'll be closing it down very shortly. We'll be analysing the results, and we'll see where we go from there, I suppose.
And what do you hope to achieve from all of that?
We hope to see better representation of young people across the planning stages across Mayo, because at the moment there's none whatsoever.
What's your bugbear? What would you like to see changed about life in Mayo that could be changed as opposed to the weather that can't be changed? Although maybe global warming is changing it.
I don't know now. I suppose I'd like to see young people more involved in their communities. There's very few young people that would go down and help out around their village. So I suppose I'd like to see young people making more of a difference and helping out and organising more events in their communities, pretty much, yeah.
You have a big night tomorrow night in Belcarra, a long night tomorrow night in Belcarra?
Yeah, well, hopefully it'll be a long night, we're hoping it'll be. But just as an example of a lot of the things that go on in Foroige in the county, there's tomorrow evening my own club in Belcarra, we're holding our annual wake-thon, so we try at least to stay up all night. Everyone, if you've got a big club like us with about 150 young people in it, you just, if everyone raises a bit of money, it can go a long way. So the charities will go to is Mindspace Mayo, the Irish Pilgrimage Trust, and the Order of Malta. So hopefully it'll be a very good.
And the aim is to stay out and stay awake all night.
Yeah, well,
every young person's dream, I presume.
We'll see now tomorrow evening how many actually do stay awake, but sure. It's a bit of crack anyways.
Okay, Dean, thank you very much for joining us. Well done, Dean Kenny from Belcarra. And that brings us to the end of the first show. Forgive me as I fumble through some notes because we have a lot of people to thank. We had an enormous effort to get this ready here this week. I'd like to first of all thank DigiWeb, who pulled out all the stops to get fibre broadband into Oliver Kelleher's village in here in Partry. And we're going to touch on business in this series as well. And broadband is so important for modern day business. The reality is here in Partry, there's fibre on tap, so to speak. And I know that the National Broadband Plan hopes to provide more and more broadband to communities around Mayo. And we'll be looking at lots of things to do with business as well in the next few weeks. I want to thank Oliver Kelleher, our host, to Paul Killeen and all the staff here as well, to Michael John Sheridan of Sheridan Electrical, to Sean McCormick of MPK Print, multi-packaging, I can never shorten it down, multi-packaging in West Solutions, MPS I think it is, in Westport, Sean, and Pat McGovern from Robine, Seamus Lally, electrician who took us out of a few holes here in the last few days as well. Alan Clarke, of course, for the provision of his 7 days of Mayo video. And to our musicians who are going to play us out in a few moments, Tom Langan, and to Joe Garvey, and to Asha, who's still lingering with suspicious eyes looking up at me here every time I mention his name. And I hope I haven't forgotten anybody else. Good luck to everybody around the Pink Ribbon Challenge on Crowpatrick tomorrow, and hope that goes well. They're hoping to set a record. Next week, as I said, we are here on Thursday night, 10:30 to 12 will be recorded and will then go out as live in a kind of a trick on Friday night. Our own team, I'd like to thank very much Anthony Moran, co-founder of localstreaming.club, who is the video and techie genius behind all of this, and to Desi Campbell, our director tonight, to John Corless, our sound man, who also does surrealist poetry, an unlikely combination. Dean Kinney, of course, helped out tonight as well, and to Tony Kennedy. I hope I've got them all. If I've forgotten, it's purely my fault from all these scribbles I've got down here. To our crowd as well too, and to thank the attendants who are here tonight, and as also our viewers worldwide, and we will hopefully build this show up to something over the next few weeks. So that's it. To play us out, we have Joe and Tomas as well too, so we'll send them on their way with a rip-roaring round of applause hopefully, and they're going to play us out with something appropriate, I have no doubt. Thank you.
Sing along if you can. Oh. 1, 2. Cheese. Ready. Cheese. Oh, the green and red of Mayo, I can see it still. Soft and craggy boglands, tall majestic hills, where the ocean kisses Ireland and the waves caress the shore. Oh, the feeling it came over me to stay forevermore, forevermore. From its rolling coastal waters, I can see Kirkpatrick's Peak, where one Sunday every summer the pilgrim climbs the reek, where St. Patrick in his solitude looked down across the bay, with the ringing of his bell, call the faithful there to pray, there to pray. And then take me to Clare Island, home of Granuaile, whose waters harbour fishes from the herring to the whale. And now I must depart it, and reality's plain. May the time not pass so slowly till I set sail again, set sail again. Green and red of Mayo, now I can see it still. It's soft and craggy boglands and tall majestic hills, where the ocean kisses Ireland and the waves